out parameter. So before we study out parameter, let us try to understand one more concept, that is returning the values from the methods. Okay, let me get rid of this particular method here. Let me write another method. Take off this and okay. Assume that I am writing one more method. Okay, what this method is doing is that it is returning an integer value. It is returning an integer value, so the return type will be int. Okay, and also at the same time it is taking two parameters as value parameters. So int, say a, int b. Okay, so since it is returning, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add these two numbers, that is a plus b, and I will return this sum as the return value. Okay, so what it is going to do is that it will take two arguments or two parameters of integer data type, and it will calculate that sum a plus b, and then it will return that value to the calling method. Okay, now since let me remove this one. Okay, let me write the function method or the method call here. Fun. Okay, since I need to call this particular function using the object p dot fun. Okay, now you see the IntelliSense is showing that this fun will take two values of integer data type. Let me write it as a 10, 20. Okay, two integer values I am passing 10 and 20, and it is returning back some value, right? So that value has to be stored in another variable of integer data type. For that particular purpose, I will use one more variable, say int, say sum. Okay, that sum will get the value what this function returns. Okay. Then console dot write line sum is equals to within the bracket 0 placeholder, that is comma, then sum. Okay, now so what we have done here, we have used one method by the name fun. Okay, what it does, it takes two integer parameters and returns an integer value, right? So that value is coming back into sum here. So let us run the program. Sum is 30. So how we are getting the 30? Because the function we are calling by the name fun and passing two values 10 and 20, and those are getting taken in the function definition here, that is method definition, as a and b, and add those to a and b and return the value. So we are returning the value. The point why I have taken this particular point, why I am highlighting this returning values. Now at any time, at any moment, I can return only one value. Return means this return statement will be executed only once, and this function is going to return only one value, right? So suppose if we want to return multiple values, then how we should do that one? So that can be done, that can be achieved using another type of passing the parameters called as out parameters. Okay, now let us try to understand that out parameters here. Let me take off all this method here. Okay, then take away this. Okay, now pay attention and try to understand this one. This is a new concept. Okay, now, I will write one method by the name operations. Okay, operations is the one method. Okay. This method, okay, what it will do is that it will try to calculate four different mathematical operations. Right? In order to calculate four mathematical operations, that is addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, it requires what? It requires two parameters. So int, say x, comma, int y. So based upon this x and y, it is going to calculate addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, right? So now int, okay, let me write it as a sum is equals to x plus y. Okay, then difference, that is subtraction, diff is equals to x minus y. Then product, that is multiplication, PROD, product, equals to x into y. And the last one, that is division, div, is equals to x divided by y. So all these operations will be carried away, and the variables, the sum, difference, division, product and division will be returned. Returned in the sense all these values will be given out by these particular operations. Okay, try to understand the terms here. All these four values or the variables will be sent out by the method operations. In order to specify that one in the function header, that is within the parenthesis, I need to specify it. That is, this function will accept, that is, two parameters, and it is going to return or out four parameters. So it will return one parameter of the integer type as a sum. Okay, then as you notice here, as soon as I typed here int sum, the error which was associated with sum got removed. I will show you once again. You see here that sum is, it is showing an error for all these four variables which are undeclared. You may see here those doesn't exist in the context. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to say to the .NET framework that these particular variables will be out parameters. It will be out parameters by the method operation. So to denote it as an out parameter, I have to specify, I have to use the keyword out, then the type of the parameter, that is int here, and the name of the parameter is sum. So as soon as I read this one, the error associated with the sum got removed. In the same way, I have to denote out parameter for all the remaining three variables here. So the next will be out, int, diff. Then for the third one, out parameter, data type is int, and the name of the variable or parameter is going to be prod, that is product. And then last one is the division, out, int, division. Right, now all the errors which were there got removed when we declare or when we define those parameters as an out parameter. Now try to understand the line number 12 here. So line number 12, what it says that the name of the method, the signature is what? Name of the method is operations. Return type is white, means it is not returning any statements or any values, since we do not have any return statements here. But it will be giving or returning certain out parameters. How we can get to know? Because they are the keywords, that is out, used within the parenthesis. So when the out is used, that indicates that the out, the sum is of integer data type, and that sum will be returned back by the operations here, this method. So whatever it will calculate, sum is equals to x plus y, right? This x plus y are the actually in parameters. You can try to understand as this int x and int y are in parameters, whereas sum, difference, product and division are out parameters. Okay, now corresponding to this, we need to write the function call or the method call, right? Now let us try to understand how we can write the function call here. As we know, this is an instance of the class, so we need to call using the object, that is p dot, okay, then operations. So you notice here the operations, okay, sorry, the IntelliSense is showing that it will take these many arguments. The first is what? Int x. I will denote it as a 20. Then second is say 5, that is y value. Okay. Then third is out, right? It is showing as a out value. So for here, what I need to do is that out. Okay. Then sum, comma, out, diff, comma, out, product, comma, out, division, right? Now, so whatever these out parameters I have declared, I have used, these have to be declared before they are used, right? So for that particular purpose, I would be declaring them before the call. That is int sum, comma, diff, comma, product, comma, division, right? See here. Now, this is the function call. This is the function call wherein it is sending two parameters, okay, as values 20 and 5, and this function is returning in the sense not using the return statement but using the out parameters. What are those out parameters? Sum, diff, product, and division. So these have to be declared before they are used. So in the previous line we have declared all those things. Now let us try to print those values here. Console dot write line. Okay, first one is for the sum, that is addition equals to, within the placeholder 0 I'm going to have it for addition. Then say take it on to the next line, I can use /n, okay, escape character. /n is escape character, it will print an empty line. So in the next line I will be using subtraction, okay, equals to, the next placeholder will be increment to the first placeholder, that is after 0 next will be the 1, okay. Then again /n multiplication, okay, equals to, the next placeholder value is 2, okay. Then again /n, okay. These commas are not required, I can remove those, okay. Then next fourth one is for division, that is division equal to, within the placeholder 3, complete the double quote, and then give the variable names for each of the placeholders. First one is sum, then next is difference, third is product, and fourth one is division. Close the bracket, semicolon. Okay, yes. Run the program, control F5. Addition is 25, subtraction is 15, multiplication 100, and division is 4. Now, let us try to revise the things here. What we did is that we created a method, okay, which will accept two parameters and it will out 4 values or 4 parameters. We can say 2 in parameters and 4 out parameters. So if a method is having out parameters, then those are explicitly mentioned using the keyword out, followed by name of the that is data type of the parameter and name of the parameter. So this out int sum indicates that sum is an out parameter of the type int, right? The same way here diff is an out parameter of the type integer. For the simplicity, I have used even the integer for the division. You may change it to be a float, doesn't matter. If you change it to be a float, then everywhere where the reference of this or the corresponding parameter we are using in the function call, we have to make it to be a float data type. Okay. So once this particular method is executed, right, sum is equals to x plus y, this sum, whatever it calculates, that value will be passed back by the out parameter. So in the function call or the method call, we need to specify the same things. So 20, 5, these two are going to be in parameters, that is x and y, right? Then for the remaining 4 out parameters, we need to have out and the name of the parameters. You may just notice here that out, I am not using int here because I have to use them before they are being used, right? So int sum. Okay, then int diff I have used, and so I'm using the out parameter. That indicates that this operation is going to have certain out parameters and which will be stored in these variables or the parameters. Okay, I hope this particular concept is understood, student. The third one, if there are any doubts, go back to the video from the with respect to out parameters and try to recollect. If you still have any doubts, okay, you may put our comments in the YouTube channel or you may get in touch with me. Okay, yes. So out parameters means if what it supports returning multiple values. It supports returning multiple values from the method. If you want to return multiple values from the method, instead of using the return statement, we can make them as the out parameters, as simple as that. The fourth one is parameter array. You may get an hint here what we are going to discuss with respect to the fourth type here, parameter array. We can pass array as the parameters here, but with a different method here, with a different approach. Okay, so let us try to understand that. Let me take all these slides. Okay. Now, I will change the name of the function to method to be a fun. So now I want to pass an array as the parameter. So that can be done using the keyword params. Okay, the params keyword is used to denote passing the parameter arrays. Okay, if I write here ARR, okay, as an array, it indicates that this array, this method is going to accept the parameter as an array. Okay, now, second. Let me pass and create an array here of the integer data type. Let me write int. Okay, and name of the array, let me give it as a numbers. Okay, equals to new int. Okay, of the size. I will not explicitly mention, rather I will initialize here itself. Say 1, 3, 5, and 7. So what this statement is, I am creating an array, right? Creating an array of the integer data type and initializing them with the 4 values, that is 1, 3, 5, 7. Then I'm going to call the method here. Right? The method, as you know here, it is going to be a parameter array. So the parameter array I have to mention here, int array, int square brackets and array. And before that, if I proceed with the keyword params, that indicates that the parameter which are being taken in the fun is going to be an parameter array. Okay, parameter array. So let us call the method here. P dot, okay, fun numbers. Let us have the definition of the parameter. So what I can write here, say for int I equals to 0 up to the last number, that is how I can get the last number, I less than array dot length I plus plus. What it will do, it will just display the values. So console dot write line and array of I. Array of I. Now you see here, the method is fun and it is accepting the parameters. The parameter in this case, it is an array, right? It is an array. So to indicate that one, I have to use it as an params. So params indicate it is going to be a parameter array, right? What it will do, it will just print those elements. For I equal to 0, I less than array dot length. So length is the property of the array here. Okay, then I plus plus console dot write line array of I. So when this particular program is executed, it is expected to print the elements of the array as 1, 3, 5, and 7. Right? Okay. See the advantage of parameter array here. I can call the function by passing the array like this: p dot fun. Okay. Then I can mention here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, as many as numbers like I want to mention. I can do that. Let me comment this. Okay. Now what I have done here, I am calling the function. You see the parameters which I am passing here. It treats that all these numbers are going to be what? Arrays. It is going to consider them as an array, which will get stored in the variable arr in the called function. Okay, it is going to print here. So let us write one more. Let me write one more statement here. Console dot write line length of the array is equals to array dot length. Okay, it will just print you the length of the array here. So when this particular program is executed, Control F5, you see length of the array is 8 and it has printed all the elements. Right. Even I can include the previous, I can uncomment this line also. So this time what will happen, first it will display 1, 3, 5, 7, and then in the next time it will display the 8 elements. Let us run the program and see that length of array is 4. This is with respect to the array numbers. That numbers was having 1, 3, 5, 7, 4 elements. So length of the array was 4 and it has printed all the 4 elements. Next time we are calling the again fun method by passing the direct values here of an array 1, 2, 3 up to 8. So length of the array is 8 and it has printed all those values. Let me show you one more alternative for using the for loops. There is an alternative actually for the loop statements. Okay, those are used with the collections. Collections in the sense we are going to study the collections in detail later in the later stages. Just to introduce, there is one more looping statement called as for each. Okay, for each will iterate through a set of collections. Pay attention to the word, the set of collections. Collections means what? Like if I can take a previous example here, this number is what? Numbers is a collection. Collection of what? 4 integer values. Here again it is a collection. Collection of what? Again 8 integer values, right? So if we want to repeat through the set of collections, we can make use of another looping structure called as for each. Why do we have to use this for each? I will explain with the example here. So int I, since the collection in this case is an integer values, so I have referred it to be a int I in, okay, and the array or the collection here, it is a name of the array, that is ARR. Okay, what you will do is that print them console dot write line I. Notice here it is I. First let me execute the program and then explain you. Okay. Run the program here. You see I have commented the previous lines. In these lines I'm running through the for each here. Control F5. You see it, same, it is working as the same as how the for loop works, right? Let us try to understand this for each. For each is an iterative statement which can be used for repeating through the collections. So collections here, as I said, it is a collection of set of elements of the same data type here. Now the syntax for the for each is for each, and within the parenthesis, okay, I need to specify the type of the elements. What is the data type of the element here? It is an integer. So int I. You need to understand that this I, if you are comparing with respect to the for loop, in the for loop, the I indicates the index value, right? The indices of each of the array elements. But in the for each, the I is the element of the collection. It is the element of the collection, not the index, not the index. What it will do is that, how it will work is that, for each means starting from the first element to the last element in this collection. So the collection here is ARR. So first time when we are calling with the line at line number 10, if you notice here, we are passing the numbers here. So numbers, I can call it as a collection of integers. How many numbers it is having? It is having 5. So the collection is having, it is having 4 elements, right? So those 4 elements will get stored into a ARR, an array, right? For each int I means starting from the first value, you are going to fetch that and up to the last value. These are not, I doesn't indicate the index, rather it indicates the element itself. First element to the last element. So first element was the value 1. In this particular example, the first element is 1. So it will print 1, since console.writeLine 1 will be printed. Then next element is 3, next element is 5, and the next element is 7. After 7, it comes to know that the for each will comes to know that the 7th element is the last one, so it will not proceed further, it will stop there itself. Why we use the for each is because when we don't know the length of the array, okay, we can calculate using the array.length, but certain stages, if you don't know how many elements are there in the array, okay, to avoid the runtime exceptions, that is array out of bound issues, we can make use of the for each very effectively, wherein it will try to repeat from the first element to the last element and do the particular work here. So the I here indicates is the element. If you notice here in the right line, I'm just writing I here. I did not write array of I, right? If we are using the for loop, then it should be array of I, and index value I have to choose. But if it is an for each loop, then directly that I indicates the element here. Okay, in detail, again, we are going to study about this for each when we are studying the collections. There are different types of collections. Okay, during that time, we will go through again for each, or in the upcoming sessions, for few examples, I will make use of the for each for demonstration. Or else what you can do is that the programs which you have written using the for loops, right? You may try to convert those for loops into a for each using this particular syntax. For each int I in an array, okay, and do the work here. I indicates the element itself, not the index value. Okay. So what this particular params is using? Params is indicating that the parameter which are going to use are of the type arrays, right? So the parameter array is used for passing the arrays as parameters. Okay, so the 4 different types we have seen. The first is value parameter. Value parameter means the changes done to the formal parameters will not reflect in the actual parameters. And the reference is reference parameter. What happens? The changes whatever we do to the formal parameters will get reflected in the actual parameters, because both the parameters are referring to the same memory location, unlike in the value parameters. The third is out parameters. We use the out parameters when we want to return multiple values, more than one values. If you want to return, then we can make them as an out parameter by using the keyword out. parameter array. If you want to pass the arrays, then we have to use the parameter keyword or parameter arrays, right? If the how we can remember or how we can know what type of the parameter a particular method is taking, okay? If the parenthesis of the method, if it is not, if it is empty, say like this, if fun, let it be whatever the return type. If it is fun, sorry, if it is a fun empty brackets, that means it is a what, it is empty, or directly if it is written with an int x and all, then it is going to be a value parameter. It is a value parameter. If the function is having reference keyword, if it is having a reference keyword, then it is a of type reference parameter. It is a reference parameter. Okay, then if the function parenthesis is having any out keyword, then it is an out parameter. In the same way, if the function parenthesis, that is the definition part, is containing any keywords like parents, okay, then it is for the parameter array. Right? Parameter. Now, one more thing I just want to highlight for the parameter array. Suppose if a method is accepting a parameters, if it is an accepting an parameter array, then this parameter array should be placed at the end. For example, if this method is accepting array as well as certain other parameters, say int x, int y, then int x, int y I have to give at the beginning, and at the end I need to provide the parameters. Okay, let me just show you here. Say 10, 20, say 50, 25. Okay, since it is an array, okay. Okay, now suppose here I cannot write this at the end here. If I write x, y, okay, it will be confusing. It will be ambiguity for the, let me uncomment this and show you here. It is going to be an ambiguity because the function, as you notice here in the function call, I am passing these many values, right? There are around, say, 10 values here. Among these 10 values, it will not come to know how many values it has to take for the parameters array, right? It will be ambiguity. To avoid this ambiguity, always the parameter arrays are written at the end. Those are written at the end. So like, say, int x comma int y. Now there are no ambiguity. How it will read is that 15 is the corresponding value for the x, 25 is the corresponding value for the y, and then after that whatever we have, all these are parameter array. Even I can keep on writing some values here, say 9, 10, 11, whatever n number of values I want, I can specify here. So all those are highlighted as parameter arrays here. Okay, the IntelliSense you may see here, parameter array is highlighted here, right? If you run the program, okay, it is going to just show those 11 elements. Okay, I hope the concepts are understood, students. With respect to the methods, these methods, don't worry, we are going to study again in detail once we start with the classes and objects. Okay, here the point of discussion was the passing parameters of the arguments. 4 types of parameters: value parameter, reference parameter are denoted using the ref keyword, output parameters are declared using the out parameter, and the parameter array are denoted using params keyword. Okay, if there are any doubts, students, you may just get in touch with me. Okay, we can discuss further on these things. Thanks for watching, students.